And a few years ago, I watched a beautiful documentary called Medicine of the Wolf. If you guys have not seen it, please go see it. It's from my dear friend Julia Huffman. And it's when I first learned about wolf hunting, and what was going on, um, really with the persecution of wolves. And these animals had become my friends, my family, my soulmates, and they saved my life in so many ways. I went through some really dark times and they were there for me. And after watching that, I said to myself, they saved my life. I need to spend my life advocating and saving them because they have been viewed in such a terrible way for hundreds, if not more, years, as these evil predators and people, oh, they're going to go after your kids, and how they're portrayed in Hollywood. And they are the exact opposite. They are so full of love, so full of acceptance, so full of um, beautiful spirit, and family, and how they take care of each other. And I knew at that point that I needed to do everything I could to change the perception of wolves. So I had started my Instagram 2 years ago, Wolf Girl Maine. I was actually home with a back injury and laying in bed, and I thought, I'm gonna put stuff on this page, and hopefully my friends or a couple people will see it and like it. And I had about 100 people on there, and I would post every day because it just made me so happy. And it just started growing and growing from there. And to see where it is now, I think is so beautiful because it's a testament to show how many people love wolves because they've been hated for so many years. But getting involved in the wolf community, meeting people like you, meeting so many amazing people that advocate for wolves and love them. And you even look at Yellowstone, where they bring in millions of dollars a year. And when the park
Mhm.
was the dead months in Yellowstone, where the winter no one was going, now there's high traffic going in, bringing revenue to not only the park, but all the towns surrounding it. The wolf watchers, the people that follow many, many social media accounts for wolves and post about them, it has really moved me in so many ways to see how many people really do advocate for these animals. And I truly believe that there are way more people that love them than hate them. And I really believe that we are coming to a shift in our ecosystem for not only wolves, but for so many animals. And I just feel so blessed to be a part of this shift in this movement.
That was so beautifully said, Sarah. Beautiful start. And I wanted to add, I feel like it's also like the universe kind of, I don't want to say made you get a back injury, but while you were
Yes.
there, I think felt your heart and your soul and almost like the spirit of of all of the wolves knew your pure heart and knew you were like the perfect person to be able to speak for their heart and show people the heart of wolves, right? And their individuality and their uniqueness, and like you said, their family bonds and their connectiveness, and it's so great, all of these people that are putting in so much work to beat these misconceptions and these negative views on wolves, because it's really not true, and especially from all these education purposes, I think that there definitely feels like there's a shift in consciousness about wolves, but I think that we still have a little ways to go, right? Unfortunately, there were a
Yeah.
couple of things that happened this year that I think were negative towards wolves, and we're still pushing towards getting them back on the federal protection lists. And the very unfortunate incident in Wyoming, right? Where um, I don't know if you want to, maybe, I think you probably have more information about that, but um I mean, it was kind of heard around the world, but if you'd like to maybe just describe about what happened in Wyoming and what we can do to make bring awareness to especially this situation because it's particularly horrible.
Absolutely. And the thing is that it was such a truly horrific act. Um, and if anything, this brought light to so many incidences that many people did not know about. Um, as a lot of people knew and that saw and read about or watched the videos, a man named Cody Roberts, um, of Daniel, Wyoming, ran down a yearling pup. She was not even a year old, ran her down with a snowmobile, proceeded to put a shock collar around her, tape her mouth shut, bring her to a local bar, which was owned by, I believe, his aunt, and proceeded to take pictures with her and smile with her and just torture this poor animal. And if anyone has seen these pictures or videos, you can see how terrified this wolf was.
Yeah,
And then he took her out back and shot her, from what we know. And you think about
truly, truly horrific.
you think
Just
about how,
gross.
yeah, how horrible this was. And the sad thing is that he was only fined $250, and the only thing in the state of Wyoming that he was considered to have done wrong was just possess a wild animal. So running down an animal in Wyoming, it's called there's actually a name for it, it's called whacking. And
Oh,
there are no protections for predators. Basically, the state of Wyoming says that you can torture and kill a wild predator at any means necessary because it is a wild predator. If that had been done to a pet, it would have been considered animal abuse. But because it's done to a wild animal and a predator, it's simply okay to do any of these heinous acts, which does not it seems so crazy to me that we value one animal's life over another. And I think that's what a lot of us now are bringing to the forefront is these individual stories about whether it's 907F, which is the oldest female in Yellowstone right now, just gave birth to her
but
sixth
it's
litter
such a badass. I
with,
love her.
with one eye. I mean, she is incredible.
Yeah.
We also have my other favorite, Wolf 8. We have Wolf 21, O 06, who inspired the O 06 legacy. Um, there are so many. There's also Wolf 813 out of Wisconsin. There are so many individual stories of these animals that people need to understand they are sentient beings. And this is something that Dr. Jane Goodall really brought to the forefront years ago when she studied chimpanzees in Africa, was showing that they are so deeply emotional. They are so connected to each other. They are so smart. And these individual stories of these wolves, of these triumphs that they've gone through, the families that they've raised, their legacies that they leave, these people aren't just killing an animal, which in itself is terrible, but they're killing a family member, they're killing a matriarch or the alpha male of the group. They're
Yeah.
killing a brother, a sister. They are these family units and these sentient beings. And you're taking that away from a family, and they're not understanding that these wild animals, any animal, whether it's a wild animal or a domestic animal, has feelings, has a soul, has a spirit. And I went to a beautiful bison ceremony in Yellowstone, um, about the white buffalo calf ceremony. Um,
So
and
cool.
this wonderful man named Mike Meese, who's a part of the Buffalo Field campaign, he had spoken and he had talked to the Native Americans, and one thing they say was, it's not the animals that have lost their way, it's the humans, because we have forgotten our connection, and we have forgotten our connection to nature, and how we are all connected together. And we need to learn from these animals. And the wolf, to the Native Americans, is known as the great teacher. And I truly believe that these wolves and their stories and what is going on are coming here to teach us.
Absolutely. And I wanted to add also about this Cody Roberts guy because I feel like I could get into the other segment a lot because I want to I want to pause there, but I wanted to add that I don't want people out in public in general. I don't think that it's a good thing for anybody to be torturing animals because
No.
what would they do to humans? How do they view other people? I just, if someone's going to torture and kill something, I think it's much different than somebody that is taking for food, using the whole thing, using the whole animal,
Yes.
as opposed to um just going out there and torturing and killing for no reason. And then, like you said, they're intricate families. And isn't it true that a lot of these packs break up when the mother or father or the alpha gets killed as well?
Yeah, a lot of times that could be the end of a pack. And the rest of the pack might dissolve, and they hunt as a unit, they hunt as a pack. Each pack member has its place, whether they're the caregiver of the pups, whether they're helping with hunting, whether they're
Yeah.
staying behind. And the problem is that these farmers and ranchers, not, and I'm not lumping everyone into the same, there are amazing farmers and ranchers out there.
Of
Um,
course,
but
right.
the ones that are blaming the wolves for cattle loss, which wolves are actually only responsible for less than 1% of cattle loss. There's something called imprinting, and when they are born, their prey is imprinted in their mind of what they need to go after.
Mhm.
If a matriarch, if the mother or father is killed, and these pups are young and they break up, they're not going to understand what the imprint of their prey is, so they might
Mhm.
go after cattle because that's an easy prey. That's all they know. Or if they are older and they don't have that pack to help them, they are kind of forced to go after something a little bit easier. So in a way, these farmers and ranchers want to kill these wolves, but if you're breaking up a pack, you're taking away their community of hunting, and also kind of and almost kind of forcing them into that easier prey. But yeah, it can kill the killing of one wolf in a pack can be detrimental to the entire pack.
Yeah, it's it's incredibly sad. And I think that people like you, people in the wolf community are doing a really good job, but these are really important notes to just bring out there because they are so misunderstood. And the way that they hunt, the way that they interact with each other is really so intricate. And of course, the second humans get involved and mess things up, right? Like they would have been fine on their own.
Yeah.
Like another fact I was, because this past week was Wolf Awareness Week. I don't know when I'm gonna exactly share this, but Wolf Awareness Week just passed. And um, one of the things that I saw on there was that wolves kind of keep their populations in check by
Hmm.
themselves. So, and I think that predators also have a different, I think hunting predators doesn't make as much sense to me as hunting a deer or an elk, just because they're just so much more intelligent as well.
Yeah, and also too, it's there are, and some people will there's a lot of people out there that say, all hunting, we shouldn't hunt animals or kill animals, and I respect I respect anyone's opinion on what they believe. Um,
Sure. Yeah, me
I
too.
have I have also worked with many hunters. I know many hunters. I'm friends with them. There are so many a lot of ethical hunters that really respect nature. They respect what they're doing. Um, they hunt for, and in many places they are hunting for sustenance. It's the way for them to feed their family. But they are doing it
Right.
in an ethical way and respecting it. So when you hunt like an elk or a deer and you're using the meat to feed your family, um, and respecting it. And a lot of times, I mean, Native Americans are so connected to the earth. They respect these animals so much and they thanked these animals for sacrificing their life to give them life. And but when it comes to hunting the predators, you're not using their meat for anything.
Right.
You're not appreciating the animal. You're purely hunting it out of hatred. You are not connected to this animal, and the problem is it's also the torture campaigns, the running over of the snowmobiles, the trapping.
Yeah.
Sometimes they'll trap these animals and they won't check their traps for weeks, and these
Mhm.
animals sometimes could even like chew their leg off. Sometimes they die because they're
Yeah.
not able to eat. So, there's nothing ethical about that. And that is the difference when you're hunting for sustenance and when you're hunting for hatred.
100%. And yeah, trapping has it's never sat right with me. I think you hit the nail on the head with, I wouldn't, I would say I don't like to lump anybody into one specific thing, right? There's always going to be good eggs and bad eggs in whatever part of society you look in, but there is definitely still a big part. And I think that as a society, as people, if we want to grow, like people that say that they are spiritual, they should want to grow towards not wanting this around in general. They won't want people doing this to animals. It's not a good example to our children. It's not a good thing to keep in our society, that negative energy, that bad energy. And like you're saying, it's done for no reason. It's not like you're feeding your whole family. You're using every part of the animal. You're thankful, and you have such a huge source for many many months just from one animal, right? That's the whole reason why wolves are important, is actually because they're cleaning up uh sick animals, and they're feeding off all the ends. But what I can't imagine that there's anything useful coming about. Like you said, it's just hatred towards this animal. And I love the way that Native Americans look and connect with. And I think that I hope that we as a society can go back to viewing the land like that, because the more, I think it is true, we are super disconnected from the earth. And I think the more that we realize how connected we are to each of these beings, I think that we can see how intelligent they are, we can see their souls, and that I think that God, or whatever you want to call it, they put them there. You look into the eyes of an animal, I'm sure you look into the eyes of a wolf, and you see that connection, that bond.